Welcome back to Night Talk, everybody. Kevin Miller with you. Thank you very much for joining us. You see them all the time on Larry King or Nancy Grace. Now more and more psychics are becoming a part of real-life criminal investigations. How accurate and reliable are they? With us now, two psychics from Butler County, Suzanne Vincent and Jean Mackenzie Vincent. I guess y'all are sisters, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
All right. Well, you know, first of all, welcome to Night Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we watch, what is it, some of the shows on TV, Median, and is the
Ghost Whisperers.
Ghost Whisperers, and what was that movie where he talks to the dead people? I can't remember.
I See Dead People?
I See the Dead People, yes. Is that an accurate portrayal of what psychic criminal investigation is?
I would say medium is. I do like the details that they give. Ghost Whisperers, I think they use the whole spectrum of different things, but yes, I would say yes.
Okay, so when we look at these cases, I'm sure you're always worried about skeptics.
Of course.
Well, for the skeptic audience that is Night Talk, with Mr. Skeptic Kevin Miller, what do you say to the non-believers?
I say to non-believers, in your own life sometimes you might get like a bad feeling or a queasy feeling, and when they reflect, they're like, yes, I did have a bad feeling and I avoided a situation, or I had a feeling that something negative was going to happen that day. And for the people who are religious, in Corinthians 1:12-13, it talks about gifts of helping people like this.
And when we think about this, what are, well, what's it like? I guess I'll just start, I'll start with Eugene.
Suzanne.
Suzanne. Yeah, I always get the Susan.
That's okay.
All right, Jean.
Yes.
Suzanne. What is actually a reading, or do you see visions, or what?
Yes, when somebody comes to you and they say that someone's missing, what you do is you start seeing images in your mind, like negative Polaroid images and like rolling film and like snapshots, and what you do is you have to decipher what you're seeing and to help those people. So you put like your own language to what you're seeing to help with people. So we're seeing like visions, I guess, yeah.
Now, you know, and again, here's my ignorance, and do you get that from touching something? Or is that just the movies?
You can get a feeling from touching things. You can get a feeling, there's things called auras that people have talked about and science has discovered around people. In the old days, the veterans came back from the war with the phantom limb feeling, and they learned that there were auras around it. It was called Correllian photography. So there's energy that you can read or feel from that. That's how I think part of this comes through.
And when you touch something, because you have this ability, do you dream it, or do you see it? Do the visions come out right at you?
I start feeling different images that are in my life. It'll show me a past. If I was portraying a child, I might see a small child in a red wagon, that I know whoever or whatever object I'm touching pertains to a small child. And around those kind of like images will come through. If it was a missing person, I might feel a person. I like movie stars. When I did the John Yelenic case, the person I saw doing this looked like Michael Rappaport, and the person who's since been convicted does look like him in the earlier stages. So I'll see a movie star. If they ask me about a case, I'll see the person who would have like auburn hair or a large forehead or light eyes. So things like that. Not you.
That's a little too close to home.
Yes.
Now, when did you realize you had this gift?
Oh, I've probably about 35 or 40 years ago. My mother was a very gifted psychic, and when my grandmother had passed away, I would tell my mother information about only what her and grandma knew about. And because of this gift, she had us join a spiritualist church. So it's been about 35 years.
Really? Coming up next, we'll find out about the Spiritualist Church. Glad they're here to keep me in line. 412-333-PCNC, everybody. Welcome back to Night Talk, everybody. Kevin Miller with you here. Always love the emails, nighttalk@wpxi.com. Suzanne Vincent with us, Jean Mackenzie Vincent with us as well, criminal psychics. And let's talk a little bit more of some of the high-profile cases. You were talking about Caylee Anthony. That's the big case that Nancy Grace has really driven to rating success. I'm familiar with it as far as it's been a huge interest, not only for that show, but the whole country. What can you tell us about your involvement with Caylee Anthony in that case?
Our involvement with Caylee Anthony, we originally got started with that case in October of 2008. We were working on another case, a Christine Shetty case in Maryland, and the intermediary Luke Phillips.
See, it's not so easy to say words on TV, is it? Yes, it's okay. I understand the blue eyes, the bright lights, the big forehead. It happens a lot.
The middleman was Luke Phillips, and he contacted us, and he had said about Caylee Anthony down in Florida, can you give us some insight while we were working with Christine Shetty? And at that time, we did give some details, and we did give some locations, and the next thing we knew, we were working with Dominic Casey. And Suzanne has a couple of ideas, too.
Yeah, Dominic Casey is a private investigator that works with the Anthonys. And what he had done was he had asked us to give an impression of where we thought the body was at. And through the intermediary, Luke Phillips. And we worked with another girl, too. Her name was Ginette. At that time, it was the three of us. And a couple days before we called him, we told him the child would be found dead. And the child is so close to the house, like 12 to 15 houses away, under a quarter of a mile to a half mile. You could feel it, the vibrations. And what he did was that she was going to be in black garbage bags. And so what happened was we got together, and Ginette had made the call to him, and he went out that day to look for the body, and he went to the abandoned house where we said look for an abandoned house near a school. You could just feel these vibrations in a place where she might have played when she was 13, maybe smoked cigarettes or did something like that she hung out at. And he had went down there, and they were poking around at these like 40 or 50 garbage bags. And at that time, he wasn't really open to psychics the way he is today. And so he had left, and he went back the next day, and then the neighborhood all knew about it. So what happened was Roy Kronk actually did find it because he was playing Sherlock Holmes, and he actually lives like maybe 2 houses behind where the body was found.
Now, did you all go down there, or you just did that from here?
We did it from here. We would use like Google, or we would use different maps that were on the internet.
And just by that, I don't mean to interrupt, but let me just jump here first. Just by the maps, you came up with these images that your sister just said.
You can get like street level, and you can get a vibe on it, and plus the background information. We picked up that she used to go to a little special spot growing up and hang out, and she'd also buried like squirrels or some kind of like small animals. And our impression together was that she probably, if she did it, would probably have buried her child there too. And that's where
this is not even being in Florida. This is just the Google Maps.
Yes.
And what happens is, this is why we're psychics, is because we know how to interpret what we're seeing now. Like, you get a feeling between the both of us. We know she's close to the house. We know it's at least 2 acres. I can see an acre or 2. I know that it's within distance of their house. So let's get on Google and look around and see if there's some vacant lots that kind of look like what we're feeling, like near a school. And what you're doing is we're investigating too.
But how do you do that without becoming emotional? One just has to watch TV and see this, be politically correct, this tragedy.
It's
you are emotional, and you do feel. I have children, and I feel, but I also know that there's a mother and there's a family who's lost a child, or a child is missing, and pending they may find him or not, and to give them the closure. This is some gift, they call it. You would never want to choose it. I always kid my sister that I must have lost a poker game with God to make me psychic in Western Pennsylvania. But you do feel you do feel the emotions, and you do feel the pain. But if for whatever reason we give closure, we can get the funeral or even bring them home, then we like to volunteer our time, and we like to help people. We have never asked or pursued a case. They've always came to us, and the first thing we say is, we don't know if we can help you, we don't know if we can connect, but we'll give it a shot, and if it works out, let us know. And so far, it's been like a little poker game. It's been working out.
Well, and coming up, we'll talk more about that. Talking about psychics, their connection to solving crimes, not only across the country, but here in Western Pennsylvania. Stay tuned for details. Welcome back to Night Talk. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, everybody. Kevin Miller with you once again, living the dream, talking about psychics and their ability to solve crime. With us, Suzanne Vincent, Jean Mackenzie Vincent, both of Butler. They love Pittsburgh. What's with the three names?
It just worked out that way.
I see. I'm the two-name kind of guy.
It just worked out.
All right, let's talk a little. Let's back to the more serious questions, though. Everybody has dreams. I have scary dreams. Do we make our dreams a way of the netherworld talking to us? Not to go Art Bell on us here, but I mean, is that when we get a dream, or is that just entertainment?
A dream is sometimes just entertainment. It's the unconscious working, like to help you unravel turmoil, like a tornado would. If
like
you
the bad people coming to get me?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have different kinds of dreams, and sometimes dreams stay with people, and you have to figure out and separate what is going on here. And sometimes people have like precognitive dreams, and they find out, it did happen.
Well, it's kind of like that movie Minority Report. Remember that? Did you ever see that movie, Minority Report, with Tom Cruise, where they had the dreams and all?
Yes, I did.
Do psychics get a bad take, with the movies?
Sometimes they do, I think. It just good time to play with the psychics and however they want to portray them.
Now, in addition to that, what about this Kevin Foley case? You all worked on that, right?
Oh yes, that was a very...
They can email us at vincentsisters.com if they have dreams or if they have any questions.
You have a website?
A website, vincentsisters.com.
Yes, or SuzanneVincent.com.
Wow.
Either
You've got
of
your
those
own
two.
website.
Well,
Not a team
it's
player,
routed. It's
All
routed.
right. So to the Foley case, what happened there?
We were invited to a psychic tea party at a lady's house, and during that time there, a stranger had come and got their, their tea leaves read, or a
psychic
reading.
tea party, huh?
Yeah, psychic tea party. And at that time, we were reading Melissa, who was a neighbor of the dentist, John Yelenic, and her guides came in and said that there was a lot of tragedy around her and a lot of darkness, and that her husband might be accused of a crime. And she said, no, that can't happen. And we said a tragic event had happened, and her sons had found a body, and she acknowledged that's correct. And what happened, she had said, well, who did harm the dentist? And Spirit had come in through the angel guides and had said a man with reddish color hair, about 5'10", light color eyes, and was in law enforcement, and such details, and also had lived away like in Florida. And at that time, they really didn't have any suspects. They had about 4 or 5 people. And then she invited us to her house, and then asked us to go next door on Spring Street to do a walkabout and to get some more information for law enforcement.
Sure, and we'll have to leave it at that. For more information, vincentsisters.com.
Yes.
Yeah, quickly. You ever get weirded out by this stuff?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, there we have it. Ladies, thank you very much. Kevin Miller with you. Thank you very much for listening. Good night, God bless, and keep it here, everybody. Welcome back to Night Talk. Kevin Miller with you. So the other day I'm looking at the National Enquirer, and they've got this story on Caylee Anthony's final moments. And lo and behold, I see our good friends, the Vincent sisters, being quoted in this piece. And, always good to have them back in to talk about psychics, criminals, and the legitimacy of what goes on in, solving these crimes. And with us right now, once again, Suzanne Vincent and Jean Mackenzie Vincent.